Hello everyone, my name is Philip and welcome to my channel where we do all things street photography. In today's episode we're going to do a review of a lens that I've been using for nearly 3 years now. And honestly, I didn't think I would do a review again, but last time I've done a lens review I had plenty of fun, and also apparently a lot of people loved my review. Anyways, if you want to check that out, you can see the link in the description. But in today's video we're going to talk about specifications of this lens, what kind of images it produces, is it good for video, and is it suitable for street photography. Let's get physical first. This lens is super heavy. I don't have a scale at this moment, but you can read online that it's 336 grams, which is noticeable, especially when you're switching between a plastic kit lens and this monster. You just feel it heavy around your neck. It's almost like an exercise after a couple of hours, but with this robust build comes this feeling of good quality. But is it good quality though? Well, yes, it does feel premium when you're holding it like this. We can start with this aperture ring that does these satisfying ASMR clicks, not too loud but not too silent, and at the same time when you're rolling it, it does feel really smooth. It has a whopping 1.2 maximum aperture, which you really won't find in lenses with this price range, ever. And the focus ring feels very nice and provides just enough resistance for smooth focus pulling. It provides distance in meters and feet, with minimum focus distance of 50 centimeters, which is a bit high. The lens cover is a metal screw-on thingy, which is an overkill, but it does add to the sexiness of the lens. I've seen people replace it with a plastic one because of the obvious potential disaster of lens cutting itself like some emo teenager. I still keep the cover, partly because I like to live dangerously and partly because I am too lazy to get another plastic hood for the thing. This lens comes with this beautiful, premium looking case that you can use to keep your crayons or sewing equipment in. Sometimes the lens comes with a hood. Mine didn't. That was disappointing though, because this lens obviously needs it. It doesn't have an anti-flare coating. Another important thing to know if you are using this or any other manual lens, you will probably have to change up some settings in camera. For people using Fujifilm like me, set your camera on manual with knob provided. Go to settings, button dial setup, shoot without lens. Also, optional but very important, MF assist focus peaking. That way you'll see what you're focusing on. And now let's talk a little bit about the performance. I saw some other people reviewing this lens and other lenses by using this graph-like tool to determine sharpness and imperfections more precisely. I am not going to do that. I don't want to dabble in stuff I don't understand really. It is a cheap lens and I don't think you need a graph to tell you the images are going to be fuzzy. Anyways, most of us is going to use this lens as a hobbyist, but nobody is stopping you to make money with it though. But for sure, I will give you some observations, and that is best done with some example images. So let's take a look at the positives and negatives of this lens. You can easily see that it's not that sharp at its maximum opening, but I don't mind that. although I notice that I kinda avoided the maximum aperture, mostly because it's hard to be precise with it, and a lot of images just go out of focus. So I ended up using 2.8 mostly. It is a sweet spot. Moving stuff don't fall out of focus that easily, but it's still pretty fast. You get that shallow depth of field. But I wouldn't say 1.2 is pointless. I did use it in one specific scenario, and that would be at night. I've made so many beautiful images at night, and it's one of the biggest reasons I would recommend this lens. Also at night, you forget all these imperfections, you focus on what light touches. Personally, I don't mind that images don't turn out crystally clear. So, to sum it up, the images you get are on the softer side, the subject separation is amazing, and you get this lovely bokeh, which is quite nice. So overall,
pretty good.
these are all examples of using this lens. You can notice they're mostly stationary shots because I wanted to avoid camera shake by using a tripod. Also, this is all in-camera color profile. I haven't done any color grading to any of these. This is not a cinema lens, but it does look like one physically, as if you had an actual cinema lens and shrunk it. And as I said in the beginning, it has a nice and smooth focus ring, although it is not as precise as a bigger lens because the ring doesn't just roll forever. Anyways, it is clear that this lens is not perfect for video, but I think it does a pretty good job. It doesn't stop you from getting beautiful images for your short film or video. Anyways, what do you guys think? Would you be able to make a short film with this lens? Let me know in the comments. And the last thing to cover would be, is it suitable for street photography? Well, obviously it is. Any lens can be used for street photography, although our 50mm here does perform nicely at f8, which is the street photography opening. On the other hand, what's the point of that if you're so zoomed in? You can't really take pictures of situations as good and convincing as with a wider lens. It is a portrait lens after all. I'm not saying that it's useless either. You can get pretty good shots if you manage to distance yourself from your subjects. Also, another important criteria for street photography is having in-lens stabilization. When you are on the go, you don't have time to slow down to get a steady shot, and this lens obviously doesn't have that. In the end, I'd say if you are going to use this lens for street photography, it does best with street portraits. And finally we come to a conclusion or conclusions. So first of all, is this lens worth it? Well, from a perspective of someone who only uses their kit lens and wants something fast, something that will get that subject background separation, this lens is a fantastic choice, especially if you're on a budget. But honestly, if you're on a budget, what other choice do you have? You can buy a fast prime lens that does have autofocus, but even if you buy an off-brand like Viltrox, you'll still have to pay more than £300 for it. So your only valid alternative would be maybe buying a vintage lens, but again, why would you want to buy something that's 50 years old, has the same performance and costs the same as a brand new lens? So anyways, for 100 something pounds or dollars, you get a really decent portrait lens with really nice video. Obviously I'm using it right now, and I think the last question was, is it suitable for street photography? Well, you can use it for street photography and you will get really good results, but is it ideal? I don't think so, because for street photography you ideally want something less than 50mm, you want something wider. And finally, I'm going to have to end this review by saying my very strong opinion on this lens, and that is, this lens is the best lens you can buy for the money. If you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments, and if you do agree with me, also let me know in the comments. Also like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you wanna support my little channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.